Story. Once upon a time, a single AI superbrain tried to run a global factory all by itself. And you know what happened? It failed. Spectacularly. Level up, study buddy. Let's build something way, way smarter. And look, this isn't just some fairy tale. It actually points to a massive, fundamental problem we see in AI. When you throw a hugely complex job at just one model, you're basically setting it up to fail. It's like asking one person to design, build, and launch a rocket all by themselves. It just doesn't work.
All right, so this big problem actually has a technical name. It's called the monolithic limit. It's that exact moment when a task gets so complicated with so many steps that a single AI's chain of reasoning just gets, well, fragile. It stretches and stretches until it finally snaps, and that's the bottleneck we have to solve. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that for any real work, we have to ditch this idea of a lone genius AI. Yeah, individual intelligence is a fantastic start, but collective intelligence, that's how the real work actually gets done. We need to start thinking like architects and building teams, digital workforces.
So that brings us to the million-dollar question, right? How do you actually organize a team of AIs so they don't just trip over each other? Well, it turns out there are two main blueprints, two primary ways to build these digital teams. On one hand, you've got hierarchy. Just picture a classic structured office. You've got a manager up top who has the master plan and delegates all the tasks. And on the other hand, you've got the swarm. Think of a beehive. There's no single bee calling the shots, but together they create something incredible. Two totally different approaches to getting a job done. And this is where it gets really interesting. You can see the core differences laid out plain as day. Hierarchy is all top-down and predictable. You know exactly what you're going to get. But swarms, they're bottom-up and emergent. The solution can be this creative, surprising thing that just appears out of their collaboration. And knowing this difference is absolutely key to picking the right tool for the job.
All right, let's dive deep into that first model and see how it works. The structured, top-down approach of a hierarchy.
So in a hierarchical setup, it's all about control and process. You have a manager agent that gets the big picture goal. It then breaks that goal down into a bunch of smaller, bite-sized tasks and hands them out to specialist agents, like a researcher, a writer, maybe a critic. Each specialist does its one job, reports back up the chain, and then the manager puts it all together. It's clean, it's orderly, and you can track every single step.
Okay, now let's completely flip the script and take a look at the more organic, collaborative model, the swarm. This is where things get kind of wild, because in a swarm, there is no boss. Nobody is in charge. All the agents are equals. An agent will finish its part of the puzzle and then just hands it off into the group. Then the next agent that's best suited for that specific task just picks it up. The final brilliant solution actually emerges from this constant dialogue, creating something that no single agent could have come up with on its own. So you're probably asking, okay, which one's better? But see, that's not really the right question to ask. The real question is, which structure is right for the mission you're on?
Here's the rule of thumb. If you need something totally reliable, repeatable, something you can audit, where consistency is everything, like generating a monthly financial report, you go with a hierarchy. But if you're exploring new ideas, if you need creativity and flexibility, you unleash a swarm. It's all about matching the architecture to the task.
All right, pop quiz time. Let's see if all this is sinking in. Let's see who's been paying attention here. Super simple question for you. Which of these two architectures relies on a manager to hand out all the specific jobs and tasks? I'll give you a second. Yep, you got it. It's hierarchical. The manager agent is the dead giveaway for that top-down structured office model. If there's a boss delegating the work, it's a hierarchy. Nice work. Okay, now it's your turn to apply this. Think about something practical, like managing your daily calendar. To make sure every single appointment is locked in perfectly, would you want a strict hierarchy or a flexible swarm that might, creatively rearrange your day? For something that needs that kind of reliability, which would you pick? And that brings us back to the most important point of all. The future of AI isn't about finding one single superbrain. It's about you becoming the architect, designing and deploying effective teams of AI agents that, working together, can do so much more than any single model ever could alone. Hey, if this explainer helped you level up your understanding, do us a solid. Like, share, and subscribe to Study Buddy with Notebook LM. We're here to be your daily guide through this wild AI revolution.
Until next time, stay agentic.